all of you are safe and following all the guidelines to stay protected. We know we are fighting the most dangerous interspecies fight of 21st century. So today's discussion is all about how we, the architect fraternity and common man, can fight the situation together, as well as being prepared for such pandemic in future. I am architect Saptarshi Kapdi, a practicing architect and visiting faculty of the School of Design and Innovation, City University. And I have a very enthusiastic and dynamic panel of students of architecture and interior design, Simran Jyot, Atma Sahni, Gunit Khurana, and Jaslin Kaur, with me to discuss about this issue. Further, we have the coordinator of the School of Design and Innovation, Architect Kiranpreet Kaur, to summarize the discussion. As we know, architecture and interior designing have a huge role to play when it comes to control the quality of life, I would say, or maybe the growth of human race. So we have a pretty vast area to discuss about which can help us in this particular situation and many other crises. So from a larger aspect, like strictly following the bylaws, like the area-wise bylaws, to a very small initiative like 3D printing masks and distributing, we have some really significant roles to play. So now, I would like to request Simran to share your thoughts about it.
So as a matter of fact, people all across the globe are fighting with this pandemic, which has taken all across the world. And keeping themselves safe and keeping their surroundings healthy is a big part of their life right now. So I would like to tell that through the medium of architecture, it has always been the key objectives to organize and plan a space according to its interior spaces and its exterior orientation, so that we can get the maximum optimum utilization of the space that a person lives in. The users of any kind of residence, they are the ones that make that place inhabitable. So as I said, during the time period of this pandemic, the utilization and the zoning of interior spaces from private to semi-private and from public to semi-public has never been more important. As we say that today, isolation is the key to keep ourselves healthy and keep our surroundings healthy as well. As Jasleen has already mentioned, that this virus stays on a lot of porous materials and it can stay on it for many, many hours. So what I would like to say is, one of the surfaces can also be our clothes and our shoes that we wear outdoors. So when we come into a residence, I believe there should be a particular space when we enter that can be a semi-public space. Whenever somebody enters our house, they can change out of their shoes, wash their hands, and then enter into the semi-public zone of the house, so that they are not left with any kind of contamination on their clothes or on their body at all. Other than then, it can be quite a big help if zoning of every single space could be followed by definite bylaws which have been already issued by our government. As the Association of Architecture always has had many bylaws that we have also need to follow during any kind of design, I believe there should be more bylaws which should be introduced so that we can tackle problems like these as the current situation today. Having more greenery or having more open spaces has never been a luxury, no more than today. It has been such a vital part of our life today that having a balcony or a terrace or even a small lawn, today it has been considered such a big luxury. Otherwise, the people who are living in enclosed spaces and are not able to go outdoors and are not able to experience the world or the nature which is outdoors, as we are in isolation right now, it can be seen that it can have a lot of different adverse effects on the psychology and on the morale of that person. At the end, I would like to say that the key objectives of the architecture design have always usually been the optimum utilization of space, the aesthetic, usage of materials, and so on. But I would like to say that introducing more bylaws and having more techniques that can result in having a more open plan regarding different buildings, and basically using our design principles to create more multi-purpose areas inside any building can be quite fruitful. Thank you.
Yeah. What do you have to say about it, Gunesh? Please begin with your topic.
Uh, Sir, apart from the perspective of an architect, I feel seeing from the perspective of an interior designer, the materials that we use in our home is also important and it plays a very important role. And looking into the studies done by the scientists, we know that this coronavirus is more viable in aerosols and it lives for longer period of time on smooth surfaces while it lives for a shorter period of time on rough surfaces. For on plastics, it is like 72 hours, and stainless steel, it is 48 hours, while on paper or clothing, it is just 24 hours. But the biggest surprising part is that on copper, it lives for just 4 hours. Copper destroys this virus. So I feel the building's hardware should be more of brass and copper. Then coming on to the flooring, we should use such flooring that does not give the place to bugs to hide or impact the virus. So we have options for that. We have linoleum. It is completely natural. It has bacteria killing properties. And that is why it has been used more in hospitals for many years. It has inhibited the growth of a bacteria known as MRSA. It has stopped the process of many pathogens, and also it has killed a virus known as norovirus. Coming next to cork flooring, it is not very popular in India, we know that, but it still has many antibacterial properties and it has inhibited the growth of a bacteria known as Staphylococcus aureus by 96%. Then we have concrete, tile, or terrazzo flooring. It is smooth, but we know that we can easily wash it off with the bucket of water. Then wooden flooring, in terms of coronavirus, I don't think it is the best option to go for, because if we put a bucket of water over it, the water will get into the wooden logs and over time it will deteriorate its quality. And next we have walls. We know that ceramic walls are common, but we also know that it lives for a longer period of time on smoother surfaces, but it is not of a big problem in case of walls, because ceramic walls, we can fire a water hose at it and it won't be an issue. It won't get deteriorated. But in case of drywall, it is like drywall is a ridiculous stuff to use in case of corona, because it just is a place for molds, and it is like a food for molds, and it disintegrates at the sight of water. Then apart from that, I feel that HVAC systems, the equipment, the filtration of a building should be good, because this is something that could either make the occupants of the building sick or keep them healthy. So I feel that filtration, humidity, and ventilation is something very important. And apart from that, I feel touch and censored sense technology will be more prevalent, because we already have something in abroad that the doors are opening by tapping or just knocking at it. So in conclusion, I feel that we need to use materials that are easy to clean and easy to disinfect. Thank you.
Be selective about material is definitely a good step, and even that sensor thing, that sensor and AI will be much appreciated thing. But as an architect, we must consider some actions to control this scenario in real time as well. Like, we are talking about precautions, and we are talking about some steps we could have done in past, right? But as architects, we must consider some actions to control the scenario in real time as well. So what do you think about this, Jasmine?
Yes, sir. So, as we all know, that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a need for adaptive reuse of buildings for various purposes. So, right now, we actually need to identify locations which are appropriate for adopting for this crisis, like hallways, office hallways, and exhibition centers are most appropriate, as they have are convertible spaces and can be easily converted with by easy partitions and easy lightweight materials. For example, the East London Excel Center has been converted into temporary NHS Nightingale Hospital for with a capacity of about 4,000 beds, and it is just built in 9 days with the help of materials which was used for exhibition stands because it was readily available and easily movable and lightweight and allowed speedy construction. And also designing of temporary intensive care units, that's it, ICU, is also helpful in open areas like parks, stadiums, grounds. The material used to construct it is tension fabric and inflatable structures are being used because they are light in weight and are allow easy and speedy construction. So these type of strategies and techniques should be used more and more to handle the situation as it is the need of the hour, because we need more and more treatment beds and more treatment areas to be for the patients and for the community also. We also have to rethink of the materials being used in hospitals. Like, it is proven that non-porous materials are more vulnerable to COVID-19, like stainless steel and plastics, than porous materials, as it lives for 24 hours on it. So the wood and cardboard are more useful for this purpose right now. So we have to rethink about the materials being used earlier. I may conclude that design has the power and ability to hurt us or keep us safe, from the floor plans to the material and to the air circulation. We need to rethink about each and every aspect and even every decision of our matters. So, as an architects and designers, I think that we have it is our responsibility to design smartly and an effective design, which is also energy efficient and helps in infection and other controls. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is kind of more technical approach, like developing infrastructure first construction is definitely what we need in India, definitely. In many countries, we are already practicing that, but yeah, in India, we need this improvement pretty much. This is helping in this will help us in current scenario as well as in our future. So but even there are some steps the architecture fraternity is already taking to fight against COVID-19. Atma, can you please elaborate a bit of it?
Hi everyone, I'm Atma and I'm going to speak about how architecture and design community is working to address novel coronavirus. As we know, COVID-19 pandemic has completely encircled the world, impacting nearly everyone. As the novel coronavirus expands globally, architects and designers are leveraging their technologies, facilities, and research skills to aid in the fight against the pandemic. As healthcare providers are facing a dire shortage of personal protective equipments, isolation rooms, they are running out of beds, and these firms have stepped up to help out in the hard times. So today I'll be discussing about 3D printed equipments such as face shields, hands-free door openers, converting existing buildings into healthcare facilities, and research and surveys that we should as an architectural firm we should conduct to know which spaces are good, which are appropriate to be converted into a healthcare facility. First of all, talking about 3D printed technology equipment, that is face shield. It is an open source design available globally on network. Any architectural firm can download the design, and if they're having 3D printing equipment, they can mass produce these face shields and help out hospitals in the time of shortage. Another equipment is hands-free door opener. Also, this design is an open source design and is available globally. We can open a door without touching it with hands, and with the help of wrist, these can be installed in healthcare facilities, which will stop spreading the infection. Another thing that architects and designers are doing is suggesting the existing buildings that can be converted into healthcare centers. For example, if we talk about hotels, guest rooms can be converted into patient rooms, restaurants can be converted into staff dining, and conference rooms can be converted into central medical supply rooms. Not only this, if an architectural firm is not having 3D printing machine and they have to produce face shield, they can simply design it by using a foldable plastic sheet, an elastic band, and with a pair of scissors. The design is available on internet. Do it yourself. Videos are available on the internet, and they can mass produce this and help out the hospitals. Talking about portable hospital setups, these days architects and designers have designed a 20 feet shipping containers that can include 2 pods, which will be having treatment beds, isolation beds, and ventilators for patients being affected by coronavirus. So these are very useful, and these can be deployed in any city around the world, as the containers can be transported to any city. So concluding down, research and surveys are also very important during this time, because architects and designers can help the government by suggesting the buildings which are easy to convert and can be converted in less time into a healthcare center. This will not only save time and will fast down the process of treating the patients of coronavirus. Thank you.
Yeah, these are some commendable steps, I must say. I would like to request you, Kiran ma'am, to please conclude the discussion.
Thank you, Saptrishi. First of all, I would like to thank to all my panelists for contributing in this discussion on architecture and COVID-19 relief. And special thanks to my fellow colleague, architect Saptrishi, for contributing as a moderator in this discussion. You all have contributed very well, and your thoughts and ideas are appreciable. And I'm also delighted to see my students have shown a good understanding of the subject. As Guneet told about the materials, usage of materials, as she is a student of interior design, and she doing her job very well. And also Atma and Jasleen told about the new techniques like portable hospitals or 3D printing masks, in which I want to add one new technique which we can use in future, that is automated systems like keyless entry and exit doors or automated switches as well. And I also want to add some point related to the spaces which we have to design in future. We have to design buildings in future in the process of multifunctional, which we have to design with less compartmentalization. And also we have to think about the natural ventilation or outdoor ventilation, which plays a very important role in our daily life. As you know, ventilating with outdoor air is vital to dilute airborne contaminants and decreases transmission rates. So at last, I would say, as an architect, our duty towards the society becomes more needful during this period of calamity. And we have to think far beyond the aesthetics and have to define the meaningful uses of each component of the space. And in future also, I believe our design methodology incorporate the learnings obtained during this period of pandemic. So at last, again, I would thank to all my panelists and my colleague architect Saptrishi for sharing their valuable views with us. Thank you.